I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the No Half Step in hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go there, you can learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're good and educated about the show, you can click on that merchandise tab, and that's going to take you to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our special event t-shirts, and so much more. The gimmicks you've come to know and love: socks, wall art, throw pillow, bed sets. You can outfit your entire home with the gimmicks the Renegades of Puck have put in their store. Best said, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Stick taps, love, and respect to each and every one of you for picking up some merchandise out there. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so please, we could use your support in the following ways. Give us a like, give us a subscription, a follow, share some links. It doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you a thing. It only takes you a second, but it does help us out quite a bit. So please, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, that's where you can find us. You can find our live stream on Twitch. You can also find us on YouTube. That's where you'll find Renegades of Puck TV. And you can find us on a number of podcast platforms. Just a couple of examples: Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon. You can find us on all of those different platforms and several others. So please, give us some support. You can become a sponsor of the show or just make a generous donation like so many Renegades have before by going to Venmo. Just search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Every dollar goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck making significant upgrades here in the bunker, looking to upgrade some of our engineering systems and our computer moving into the next couple of months. So please, if you can spare a dollar, send it our way. It sure would be appreciated. Again, that's on Venmo. Just search Renegades of Puck. Now, I know, time for the No Half Step in hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 705. That's right, show number 705 for the Renegades of Puck. And at this exact moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in fourth place in the Central Division. 44 games skated leads to a record of 21-17-6. 48 points has the Nashville Predators, just 6 points shy of an automatic qualifying spot for the playoffs in the Central Division. They are behind the Minnesota Wild for third place at this point in time, and they are 11 points behind first and second place, Dallas and Winnipeg. So the Central Division reads the following: Dallas and Winnipeg are in first place with 59 points. The Minnesota Wild have 54 points. Then the Nashville Predators in fourth place with 48 points. Colorado, St. Louis, both at 47, 1 point behind the Nashville Predators. Arizona, Chicago, rounding out the bottom of the Central Division. Now, the Nashville Predators' next game is the most pivotal Central Division game of the beginning of the second half of the season because it is going to determine fourth place in the Central Division on Thursday night. The Nashville Predators will be in St. Louis to take on the Blues. The Nashville Predators on the road have a record of 10-10-3. They've scored 122 goals. They've given up 128. That's a goal differential of -6. While the St. Louis Blues have an overall record of 22-20-3, 47 points on the season, 1 point behind the Nashville Predators, a home record of 9-10-2. They've scored 141 goals on the season. That seems like quite a bit compared to the Nashville Predators. It is, but they've given up 160, and that is a lot to give up. -19 is their goal differential. Now, these two teams have already met twice this season. They'll meet one more time after this. They'll meet again on April the 1st when the Nashville Predators will be at home against the St. Louis Blues, but they've met two times before this, and let's go ahead and recap both of those. On the 27th of October, it was the Nashville Predators securing a 6-2 victory at Bridgestone Arena over the St. Louis Blues. The captain, Roman Yossi, had a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Justus Aros secured the victory, 33 out of 35. On December the 12th, these two teams would play in St. Louis, and it would be a 1-0 final in overtime in favor of the Blues. It would be Schenn scoring the only goal of the game, Binnington scoring the victory and getting the shutout with 25 saves, Justus Aros taking the loss, 23 out of 24 in that game. For the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this one-game road trip in St. Louis, back home to close out with 3 home games before the All-Star break: Saturday versus LA, Tuesday versus Winnipeg, the 26th versus New Jersey, and then not back on the ice as a team again until the the 7th of February versus the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That's at Bridgestone Arena. On the 11th of February, the Nashville Predators will be in Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. Now, the St. Louis Blues, let's take a look at their most recent stretch of action. Let's go back 5 games and see how they're doing. On the 8th of January, it was a 3-0 victory at the Minnesota Wild. On the 10th of January, it was a 4-3 overtime win versus the Calgary Flames. It was the first of 2 consecutive games against the Calgary Flames. On the 12th, a 4-1 loss versus those same Flames. On the 14th of January, a 4-2 loss versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And on the 16th, their most recent game, a 2-1 win versus the Ottawa Senators. Binnington in net takes the victory, 32 out of 33 in net. So this is the battle of 4th place in the Central Division as Nashville, Colorado, and St. Louis continue to play Central Division leapfrog, at least for the last several games now. And it seems they will probably continue to do so for quite some time for the Nashville Predators. It would be good of them to get ahead of the pack if they can as soon as possible. When it comes to the rankings and the NHL matchups between these two teams, the stat metrics do not look too impressive on either side of the ledger, so that means we should have a good even game right here. Goals for the Nashville Predators, 2.73 goals per game, is 27th in the NHL. St. Louis better than the Nashville Predators in this metric, generating 3.07 goals per game. That's 21st in the NHL. When it comes to goals against, the St. Louis Blues are giving up 3.53 goals per game. That is 25th overall in the NHL, and they've given up 160 goals already on the season in 45 games. The Nashville Predators are giving up 2.89 goals per game. That's 14th in the NHL. In shots category, shots for 31.1. That gives the Preds the 19th overall ranking in the NHL. 28.6 shots on net gives the St. Louis Blues the 29th ranking in the NHL. When it comes to shots against, the Preds are 30th in the league, 34.5 against per game. That number is just astronomical. St. Louis Blues giving up 32.4 against per game. That is 23rd. Special teams, St. Louis has the best power play in this matchup, 23% conversion rate. That's 13th overall in the NHL, 29 out of 126 opportunities. The Preds are 29th on the power play, 16.3% conversion rate, 24 out of 147 on the season. When it comes to penalty kill, the Nashville Predators do have the better metric in this category. They've given up 31 power play goals against on the season, but they are rated 14th overall with an 80% kill rate. St. Louis has a 78.2% kill rate. That has them at 28th in the NHL, 29 power play goals against. Now, every team in the NHL has plenty of high individual skilled scores. That's why we always go over the top 5 scorers from each team in the individual statistics categories. Let's go over the home team, St. Louis Blues first. Jordan Kyrou, 20 goals, leads the St. Louis Blues in total goals. Add 22 assists to that for 42 points. Of course, that 42 points leads the team in scoring. Thomas has 11 goals and 29 assists. Those 29 assists are first overall on the St. Louis Blues. 40 points in total. Then you see Buchnevich at 15 and 22 for 37. Shen at 10 and 23 for 33. And Vladimir Tarasenko, 10 goals and 19 assists for 29 points. In net, Jordan Binnington, 17, 14, and 3. 8.94 save percentage, 3.21 goals against average. Those numbers not so good, but he did get the shutout against the Nashville Predators the last time these two teams played. Flipping over to the Nashville Predators, the visiting team's statistical ledger, Forsberg leads the Nashville Predators in total goals with 18. You add 21 assists to that, and he leads the team in total points with 39. The captain, Roman Josi, leads the Nashville Predators in total assists with 24. Add 12 goals to that, and you have 36 points overall, second on the team in scoring. Duchesne has 11 and 23 for 34. Granlund, 4 goals, 21 assists for 25 points. And Niederreiter, 13 goals and 10 assists for 23 points. In net, UC Saros, 16, 12, and 5. A 9.21 save percentage, 2.68 goals against average. Updated stats on Kevin Lankinen, 5, 4, and 1 now on the season. 9.24 save percentage, 2.64 goals against average. It is a pivotal and critical Central Division matchup between the Nashville Predators and the St. Louis Blues, and that's got you all set up now. Let's go back and recap the Nashville Predators against the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and it's coming up next.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
We go all the way back to January the 17th of the year 2023, and the Nashville Predators were taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets at Bridgestone Arena. John Hines actually keeps some consistency in lines 24 hours after playing the Calgary Flames. He goes with the same lineup and the same line combinations. I'll remind you of what those were. Forsberg, Glass, and Duchesne make up your first line. Niederreiter, Johansson, and Granlund on the second line. Smith, Parson, and Sissons your third line. And the fourth line is Trennan, Novak, and Janot. Your defensive pairings are McDonough and Yossi, Ekholm, Carey, Luzon, and Fabro on your third pair. And Lankinen gets the start in net, second night of back-to-backs for the Nashville Predators. We are just 1:15 into the first period, and Tarasev's coming up with a save on Carey. It's the first shot on goal of the game. 3:02, Tarasev already back to work. A save on Yossi at close range. 3:44, Lankinen checks in with a save on Gavrikov. It's his first touch of the game. 3:54, just 10 seconds later, another save on Laine from the high slot. At 7:19 in the first period, Novak's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Overall, solid penalty kill by the Nashville Predators, and they go back to work offensively because at 9:47, Tarasev's off to save another puck from Duchesne, plus Luzon's jam follow-up opportunity crashing the slot hard right there. At 12:02, Peak is off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Parsonen, followed by Johansson, have strong chances as the power play is coming to its expiration. 15:25 at the first period. Tarasev comes up with a save on McDonough with heavy traffic in front. 18:11, Forsberg has the lacrosse attempt stopped by Tarasev. He recognized it, got the glove up there at the post, and definitely prevented Forsberg from being able to score a highlight reel goal. 19:54 the first. Lankinen comes up with a save with the mask on Bernstrom. We at the end of the first period, Nashville out shooting Columbus 13-9. 1:34 into the second period, Tarasev comes up with a save on Forsberg with the blocker. 2:56 in. Lankinen a save on Goodbranson. At 5:42, Glass breaks through with the first goal of the game, his fifth of the season. The Predators' first goal of the game gives the Preds a 1-0 lead. He intercepts Philip Forsberg's diagonal pass across the zone that was meant for Fabro and converts from the slot area. You can tell Glass absolutely wanted that puck, and he wanted that shot. He took it, he converts and scores 1-0 in favor of the Nashville Predators. 6:19 into the second period. Marchenko's off the box. 2 minutes for high sticking. Lankinen would have to come up with a shorthanded save on Nyquist after a turnover by the Preds. And overall, the power play not very, very good in this situation. 10:59 of the second period. Duchesne's off the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Lankinen comes up with a save on Laine, and then Lankinen comes up with a save on Marchenko, plus numerous others during a mad scramble, perhaps the best sequence of the game for Lankinen. 13:05 of the second. Tarasev comes up with a save on Sissons on the 2-on-1 just after the power play expires. A drag to the middle. A shot from the slot is turned away. 16:55 of the second period, though. Trennan's sixth goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 2-0 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets. A low circle finish after Yossi's pass from below the goal line. Trennan got to the quiet area, had his stick down ready, converts, gets hockey hugs. Shots on goal at the end of the second period with the Nashville Predators leading by 2 goals. Columbus out shooting Nashville 25-23. We hit the fresh sheet of ice in the third period, and we're 27 seconds in, and Lankinen comes up with a save on Boom Jenner. 43 seconds in, Lankinen comes up with a save on Laine. 2:02, Lankinen comes up with a save on Marchenko. Then a rebound by Nyquist. The Columbus Blue Jackets are swarming the Nashville Predators at the start of the third period. 7 minutes into the third period, Forsberg's off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Lankinen comes up with a save on Laine. Lankinen comes up with a save on Laine again, and then Nyquist scores. It's a jam at the top of the crease that gets the puck in the net finally by Lankinen. His 9th goal of the season gets Columbus on the board. Still, though, the Nashville Predators hold a 1-goal lead on home ice, 2-1. The Predators are being outshot at this point in the third period, 13-2. At 11:15 in the third period, Bernie's off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. 0 shots on goal for the Nashville Predators, but it felt like so much worse, but at least they were able to take 2 minutes off of the clock. 16:33 of the third period, Lankinen comes up with a save on Gavrikov with the inside of the blocker arm, crossed up just a little bit, but he got the job done. 16:36, Lankinen comes up with a save on Sillinger. The Columbus Blue Jackets have generated 40 shots on net at this point in time, and Lankinen is able to hold strong all the way until the final buzzer, and the Nashville Predators secure a 2-1 victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus outshoots Nashville 40-28 overall in this game. So the Nashville Predators, 2 nights in a row, sit back on a lead in the third period and find a way to rely on their goaltender too much, but they do find a way to get get 2 points in both of those scenarios and those circumstances. So Nashville Predators come away with the 2-1 victory. They get 4 points and the back-to-back less than 24 hours apart of Bridgestone Arena. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Lots of analysis coming up, stats, opinions, and more with the Renegades of Puck. Sean C. Smith back in the trenches, Brian Baston as well. That's coming up next.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Lankinen was 39 out of 40 in this game. It was an incredible performance from the backup goaltender. Don't forget, just a couple of days ago, had to miss a start because of illness. Back into the game, back in the lineup on home ice, going 39 out of 40. Incredible performance, an incredible third period. He's truly a competent backup goaltender. You saw on the broadcast tonight, they chronicled that quite a bit. That Big Save Dave last year did not get this number of starts until nearly April. So for Kevin Lankinen, proving to be a competent goaltender, and the numbers he's putting up at this point in time, a .924 save percentage, a 2.64 goals against average, you've got to start to wonder, UC Saros potentially a Vezina finalist. Are the Nashville Predators potentially the Jennings Award winner by the end of the season? Lankinen truly putting in a tremendous backup performance. Glass picks up a goal in this game, and he wanted that puck and he wanted that goal. Forsberg was not sending that past the Glass. He was sending that across the zone to the back post to Fabro. Glass intercepts it and then goes ahead and converts. Really, truly a great play to see. Glass getting the opportunity to move up to the first line. Again, my critique on that move after the last game was that Parsonen didn't deserve to be moved to the third line. Not saying Glass doesn't deserve the opportunity to move up, and Glass is now seizing that opportunity. Great to see him out there taking that puck and taking that shot and scoring that goal. Trenton gets the game-winning goal, and this is the easiest formula in all of hockey. Find open space, get your stick down, finish the play, and get hockey hugs from your teammates. Great job by Trenton right there. He did all of those things, and he did it perfectly, and it ends up being the game-winning goal for the Nashville Predators. Trenton gets rewarded for all of his hard efforts as of late. The captain, Roman Josi, another smooth night, just 21:53 in total time on ice, led the team in skating out there, and the second night of back-to-backs, he does that 2 nights in a row, less than 24 hours apart, and he just does that constantly. He is just the smoothest operator you can find, and the captain, Roman Josi, leads his team to another victory on home ice. These third periods, they are not sustainable. I have got to make a note of that. Almost lost to one of the worst teams in the league. Last night, the Calgary Flames, you have a Vezina finalist in net in UC Saros. He's able to hold the fort and able to hold the line, but it was still a barrage against him in that third period. The same thing tonight with Lankinen. Now listen, Lankinen stepped up and he really proved that he can handle the workload, but that is not something that you can rely on each and every time. The Columbus Blue Jackets are one of the worst teams in the entire NHL, and the Preds barely looked like they were even with them for large stretches of this game, especially in the third period. It's not sustainable, and if you go into St. Louis and then you come back home against LA, Winnipeg, New Jersey, and Vegas, you're going to get swarmed and stomped if you play third periods like that. It's not sustainable, and it cannot happen. The Nashville Predators have to clean things up, and they have to start finishing games better. I don't know what it is that they think they can be so cocky and so arrogant once they get a 2-goal lead. They're not that good. They have some good goaltending, and they can play some good hockey at times, but they are not good enough to just coast and sit back for entire periods once they get the lead. Sean C. Smith is back in the trenches, and I'm so happy to have Sean C. Smith from A to Z Sports back with us. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. He's going to explain a whole lot. He's going to also talk a whole lot about the Nashville Predators. He's got a lot of opinions, so let me get out of the way and get to Sean. He's up right now.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean Smith, and I'm back after a little bit of a break. If you've seen me talk about a little bit of the chaos that's going on here in my studio, it's representative of the chaos going on as we remodel our bathroom, which has thrown things into chaos in the Sean Smith house. Also had to take a trip to watch some incredible mite hockey down in St. Louis, where I was all weekend. So apologies for the extended break. I know that Crazy Charlie and Brian have had you guys covered, but I am back and I'm happy to be here. And I'm really excited to talk about, after what was a bit of a rough stretch while I was out, and I'd say it probably had nothing to do with the fact that I wasn't here, it's nice to talk about a couple of streaks. Now, of course, the first streak I'm going to talk about is the fact that Juuso Parsonen's rookie goal or point, goodness gracious. We're going to try it again. Okay, Charlie, I am starting over. Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean Smith, and I am back. And I know that Crazy Charlie and Brian have had you guys covered in my absence, and let me give a little bit of an explainer. Of course, the chaos that you've been familiar with recently here in my studio is representative and reflective of the chaos in the Sean Smith house, because we are remodeling our bathrooms, and it is taking a toll on how things are going here. Now, that can speak for some of my absence, but the rest of the absence has to do with an exciting trip to St. Louis, Missouri, where I got to watch my favorite hockey player and part-time Renegades of Puck correspondent Kalen Smith play some incredible mite hockey against some quality teams from Chicago and St. Louis as well. Now, unfortunately, their weekend didn't end the way we wanted it to, but the Predators do have some good things going on, and that's what I'm excited to talk about. Let's talk about two streaks. The first streak, of course, came to an end, and that was Juuso Parsonen's rookie point streak, which stops tied with Philip Forsberg for the lead with 7 games in a row. Parsonen was unable to notch a point in tonight's win over Columbus, and that means that his streak has come to an end. And while that's disappointing, it's certainly exciting that you've got a rookie on the team that's making a little bit of noise out there. And of course, the other streak we'll talk about has really just started, and that's the Predators' win streak, which all came about because of a big win tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets after beating the Calgary Flames last night. And I tell you what, second night of a back-to-back, you're putting your backup goaltender in, and if this were last season, I would have expected to see UC Saros come in and play the second game as well. But the Predators made a pretty big upgrade over the summer, and that's something that I'm going to have to eat a little bit, if not a lot, of crow on, because Kevin Lankinen as a backup has been incredible. After seeing him with the Chicago Blackhawks last season, I think everybody was right to be a little bit confused by that pickup, because Lankinen did not look very good for the Blackhawks. Of course, the hope was, and that turned out to be right, that that's what happens when you put a good goalie in front of a bad team, and here you see a very good goalie doing his best. Now, some people might say, well, are the Predators a bad team, Sean? I mean, because they're not having the greatest of seasons, but I tell you what, you get paired with someone like UC Saros, and you have a team that will play for their goalie, and sometimes great things can happen. And Lankinen's putting on a show every time he's out there. He's playing a heck of a game every night he's out there. And I tell you what, this tandem of Saros and Lankinen is something to watch out for. Now, if the rest of the team could get their offense together and the defense could start limiting some shots that they're allowing, Predators might be looking pretty scary right now. And scary in a good way for Preds fans and a bad way for the rest of the league. But speaking of saves, 39 saves for Kevin Lankinen means on a home win, don't you get 39 cents off per gallon at MAPCO? I think that's a pretty good deal you might want to take advantage of. So that's something that if you live in the viewing area here, you might want to go out there and take a chance on filling your tank up. That's a pretty solid discount. That's 400 points at Kroger's worth of savings, which is like $400 worth of groceries. And all you had to do was nothing. Kevin Lankinen did all the work for you, and you should thank him for that next time you see him. Now, I want to say a little bit about that. 39 saves on 40 shots. The Predators are allowing quite a bit of shots on their goaltenders here lately, and tonight was no exception. And I think my biggest concern, Charlie, and to the rest of you Renegades out there, was I saw the Predators play a pretty solid first and second period, get a two-goal lead, and then kind of take their foot off the gas pedal. And that's what concerns me when we talk about these winning streaks being sustainable, is that I'm seeing a team that for whatever reason, when they have no evidence at all this season that coasting through the third period with a a small lead is going to work out for them, continues to do it on a regular basis. A 2-goal lead, not a very big lead. It's a scary lead if you're the team ahead, because you're just 1 goal away from a pulled goalie at the end in a tied game, which sends you into overtime and may get you the loser point if you can't go ahead and score another one. But this team continually finds himself in this situation where they've got a small lead, ends up going into the third period or the second period and just taking their foot off the gas. I'm not going to say they're pumping the brakes, but they're definitely taking their foot off the gas. And when that happens, you get a lot of pressure on your goaltender, which there's been way too much pressure on these goaltenders lately. And you start to see the shots pile up and you start to see the goals leak through. When the goals start leaking through, that's when things get bad. Now, the team responded well, and they stepped up and started playing the way they needed to play the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game, which was enough for them to hang on. But if you are expecting this Predators team to be a team that's going to go to the playoffs, and even if they go to the playoffs, make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, they're going to have to be a team that keeps their foot on the gas pedal for the entire game. Whether they've got a 2-point lead, a 6-point lead, or if they're down by 1, whatever, they've got to go the whole game. There's no reason and no evidence I've seen this season that tells me that the Predators can coast and protect a 2-goal lead. That being said, it certainly is exciting to see the team doing well when you watch a couple of games in a row and see that they can get things done. You got a little bit of depth scoring there from Yakov Trenin and Cody Glass. Always nice to see those guys get involved. And it's fun to watch Cody Glass continue to develop, playing first line center between Matt Duchene and Philip Forsberg. What a setup for that young man right there. Now, Charlie, that's about all I have. We should have an exciting week of hockey ahead of us. Looking forward to being back with the crew. Once more, I'm going to send it back over to you.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way, from startup to full-time operation. Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Let me take a look at the box score real quick. Cody Glass scores a goal in this game. Yakov Trenin gets the game-winning goal in this game. When it comes to assists, Duchene, Forsberg, Janot gets on the score sheet. Also, the captain, Roman Josi, picks up another assist. When it comes to shots on net, the Preds did not generate nearly as many shots as you might expect, considering how many Columbus was giving up per game. Philip Forsberg ends up leading the team in shots on goal with 6. Yakov Trenin also had 4. Luzon had 4 on net as well in this game. When it comes to block shots, 2 was the highest category. Again, Columbus, a speedy team, and the Nashville Predators a little bit tired out there. Second out of back-to-backs. Tough to block shots when you can't get set up defensively. Sissons with 2, Ekholm with 2, and McDonough with 2. They pace the Nashville Predators in block shots. When it comes to the physical component of things, again, it can be tough to hit what you cannot catch up to, and the Columbus Blue Jackets were using their speed and their skill to get away from the Preds all night long. Tanner Janot with 3 hits in this game, Cole Smith with 3 hits, and Luzon also with 3 hits. Time on ice leaders, Matt Duchene, 18:47 out of the forwards, and the captain, Roman Josi, 21:53 in total time on ice for the Nashville Predators. Again, leads the team as he usually does when it comes to total time on ice. And Lankinen, he's the standout performance of the night, and the real story, 39 out of 40. The backup goaltender comes in and just has an otherworldly performance on home ice for the Nashville Predators. Well, you know who else has some numbers? He is the one and only Brian Bass. He's got the numbers that you need to know, and he's also got the charts that you need to see. He was at Bridgestone Arena tonight, and he filed this report live on location. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can check out his work on theforecheck.com, and you can watch him right now on Renegades of Puck TV.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. I'm here at Bridgestone Arena for the second night in a row, and for the second night in a row, I'm happy to report that the Predators won in a 2-1 victory, this time over the Columbus Blue Jackets. And one of the things that the score sheet may not really tell the story about, especially in both of these games of the back-to-back, is just how good the Nashville offense was. Now, yes, they only resulted in 4 goals over the last 2 nights and only won these 2 games by 1 goal. But I think if we look a little bit deeper, you can see just how well this offense is coming along and starting to develop into something that's truly an offensive threat. And that's the topic of tonight's One Big Stat. Nashville has been building towards becoming a more high-danger offense, making sure that their shot selection is focusing on getting those quality shots and not firing 10 to 15 shots a game from the blue line. And this is something that Coach John Hines said that he wanted to implement when he came to Nashville. And if judging by the last 2 games, he might finally still see the fruits of his labor coming to fruition here. Nashville in the last 2 games, according to Sports Logic, shout out to Willie Donick for providing those numbers for me, had 26 scoring chances against Calgary and Columbus in these last 2 games. And Nashville and 8 of those were grade A chances or high danger chances. Now, that may not tell the full story though, but if you look at how many shots that Nashville had under 20 feet in these last 2 games, they outshot their opponents in shots under 20 feet 36-22 in the last 2 games. So 36 of Nashville's shot attempts were made from within 20 feet of the net, which, yes, unfortunately those didn't result in that many goals in the last 2 nights, but if they keep making an effort to make sure they focus their shot quality and they're trying to get those goals, creating tips, playing off rebounds, trying to get deflection, things like that, I firmly believe that the goals will start to come for the Nashville Predators, and honestly, it couldn't have come at a better time. Now, of course, Nashville obviously is backstopped by a good, maybe even great goaltending tandem in UC Saros, who remains one of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL, and Kevin Lankinen, who, myself included, has been a pleasant surprise for the Predators. So as long as they can continue to get that type of goaltending and the effort that we've seen by the defensive core, this Nashville team could be poised for a turnaround if they can start to get those shots to fall. Because again, if you're taking that many shots, almost 18 per night within 20 feet of your goalie, the goals will eventually come. Maybe just they didn't come tonight. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Back to you, Charlie.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. The good news is the Nashville Predators managed to pick up 4 points in less than 24 hours, 4 out of 4 in the back-to-back. The Calgary Flames, certainly a significant opponent ahead of the Nashville Predators in the playoff race for the Western Conference. The Columbus Blue Jackets, though, a last-place team, taking the same exact style to try to beat the teams, the same score, the same exact blueprint. I could have just copied and pasted. If UC Saros had gotten the start in both games, I could have copied and pasted the replay and the recap from last night. It would have sounded exactly the same. You can win with good goaltending, but you cannot rely on good goaltending every single night. Even UC Saros is capable of having stretches of hockey where he gives up a couple of soft goals, where he doesn't have the best performance. We saw that at the beginning of the season. So you have to tighten things up. You cannot continue to rely on what you've done the last 2 nights in the third period. It's absolutely outstanding. It's been 2 great performances. It's been a lot of fun to watch and track the goaltenders in the third period, but you cannot rely on this type of strategy moving forward on a game-in, game-out basis. Too many big-time, important Central Division Western Conference games coming up just in the next stretch. St. Louis, LA, Winnipeg, all 3 of those teams are expected to be playoff teams this year, and the Nashville Predators have to find a way to displace at least one of them. Right now, the Preds are 1 point ahead of St. Louis in the standings. They need to fend off St. Louis now by beating them head-to-head. Ultimately, it's a 4-point game, as we like to call it, because by taking 2 points, you deny 2 points to St. Louis, and that's what the Nashville Predators need to go ahead and do. So it's a big tilt in St. Louis. It's the biggest tilt in the Central Division in a while. And for the Nashville Preds, it would be a good way to get the tone set going right towards the playoff race of the second half of the season. The Preds, last time they went into St. Louis, shut out 1-0 in overtime, but they did secure a victory over the Blues earlier in the season, Bridgestone Arena 6-2, and they're very even in the standings. So the battle for fourth place in the Central Division is exactly what we're going to get, and I expect a big-time tilt in St. Louis. The Nashville Preds one-game road trip, and then back to Bridgestone Arena to get themselves all set and get ready and close out for the All-Star break. Man, I sure do appreciate Sean C. Smith being back in the trenches and catching us up on everything that's been going on with him. Brian Baston bringing us the charts and the numbers. Each and every one of you Renegades of Puck out there, I sure do appreciate each and every one of you. And Full Press Coverage, the Full Press Predators podcast. We love the support we're getting from that organization, that operation. Stick Taps, love and respect to you guys. We are pacing well above the numbers we were last year already, and we are so excited about the partnership that we have with you guys. We're so thankful for each and every one of you, for each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. I am your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Operation 705 is now complete. Stick Taps, love and respect.